All right, this is part 2 of our how to create a self-signed certificate using PowerShell on a Windows machine, and then how to prepare that certificate to be used on an ESXi server. We're using an ESXi server as an example, but again, you could use that certificate on a variety of different devices. So in part 1 of the video, we left off right here. Okay, we left off right here. Right. So what we want to do now is continue on that way. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to this website, and I'm going to use that website as a tool to convert my PFX file. And I just make a note here that PFX is part of the same family as PKCS #12 or #12. Okay. And you know, a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? But we're gonna use a conversion tool from this to this. So let's go do that. All right, let's jump over there and let's see what we got. So here we are. This is an odd URL. These URLs in these notes for CITE students, this is all going to be available to you in our course materials in Canvas. These links will be there, and the notes will be there, and so you'll have access to this stuff. Okay, so here, this is a convert. It's from Namescheap, a very popular place to go get certificates. They've provided this tool, and what we need is we need this one right here, PKCS hash or #12 to PIM. So, okay. Now here's what it wants. Notice it wants me to give it a PFX file and then the password that I put on that package when I exported it. So let's go get it. Remember, we saved that in a folder called temp. Okay, so there it is. Okay, and that is a PFX. If we were to right click on it and go to its properties, you'll see that it's a PFX file, Personal Information Exchange, or PFX. Okay, so I go ahead and open that. So I gave it that half. Now I have to come down here and type, this is the password that I used when I exported the package. Okay, and I ask it to convert. Pretty quick. And, you know, I mentioned it because, you know, we're doing it, again, Windows, but in the notes, it talked about using OpenSSL. From OpenSSL, you can do this on the command line. Like, what if this website went down, right? I come here, I'm using it today, I've used it last year, I used it the year before, but what if it goes down? Well, then my fallback is going to be OpenSSL. And OpenSSL, we do have links in our course materials about how to install it on Windows. And if time allows, we should have you do that. Okay, we're always fighting if time allows. Okay, so anyways, I've got it. I've made my conversion. Now I'm going to download it, right? And it downloaded. Notice it downloaded as a zip package. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to copy this zip package over into my temp folder so we can work with it. Okay, so I did that. You can see here I'm in my temp folder, and here's my exported. Maybe I should have made a note of that this was exported. Okay, I try to do that. I try to make the names as meaningful as possible. Right, so what it is, it's a zip package. So what I want to do is, let me just go ahead and extract it. Okay. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder. And I'm going to call it, let me do this. Let me grab the name off of this one and put it on this one. Whoop. Okay. I could have been a little bit better and cleaner about when I extracted it and had it, okay. Could have been a little bit cleaner there. All right, so here we go. Now notice what we got here. This is the converted files, but we've got what we need. We've just got crazy names with it. Okay, so this top one here is my CRT file. Okay, if I right click on it, if I go to properties of it, it's a CRT file. Okay, this other one here is my key file. Now this is what ESXi needs. It needs a file, a RUI.crt file and an RUI.key file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to copy these files and rename them. I'm going to copy one that gives me like a full name, and then I'm going to copy and have a file ready to copy over into ESXi. So hold on, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I just did some file copying and renaming. Nothing other than that. No converting, no magic, no anything. I took those very long names and I renamed them. So I renamed the CRT file to this and the key file to this, and then I copied them. So it said this copy, and then I renamed that to get it ready to send up to my ESXi server. Okay. All right. Now, those of you who are in the CITE program, you always know that you can ask questions, or we can discuss this or redemo it. All right. So what I'm going to do next is I need to go look at my ESXi server. Okay, so here it is. This is the server I'm going to send this up to. And this server, it's a special case in that it's nested virtualization, meaning I can make mistakes and recover from it. This is a ESXi inside of an ESXi. So I did that. I took a snapshot or checkpoint of it before I started messing with it, just because, well, kind of, in figuring this out, it's really easy to make mistakes, right? So I want you to know I just didn't just boldly go and grab a server and say, I'm gonna throw this certificate on it and just trust it's gonna work. Okay, I didn't do that. Let's take a look at the existing certificate. Okay, the existing certificate came from Let's Encrypt. This is a third-party certificate. All right, the certificate is intended for the following. It's valid. All right. Okay, we all had one of these, but it's short, right? This is the best I can do for free for a wildcard cert. Notice it is a wildcard cert. Asterisk.bobsocko.com. It's the same cert as what I created just now, but this one came from a trusted certificate authority, and I only got 3 months out of it. September, October, November. So let's see, September 11th, October, November, December. Yeah, 3 months. I only got 3 months out of it. But this one is trusted by the world, and it is free. And I am going to show you how to do this. All right, I'm going to show that to you, but I want you to see that's what I got. All right. And what I want to put on it is I want to put one that is self-signed instead of third-party signed, that's good for 10 years. All right. Okay, so I want you to see that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause the video again. I'm going to log into my ESXi server, and I'm going to open up SSH so that I can copy in and out of the file system. So I'll be back. Okay, so I authenticated into ESXi 19, and again, as a learning testing machine, this is a nested ESXi server running inside of another ESXi server. So I did checkpoint it on its parent, and I went in and I turned on SSH. Okay, notice it's on, and then I opened up Win Secure Copy, and I established a connection, and I navigated to where the certificate is, the etc directory VMware /SSL, and there's my two files. There's RUI.cert and RUI.key. And over on the right side here, this is my Windows machine. I navigated to c:\temp, where I've been working with all this, and the files I want are in here. There's the ones I want to replace it with. But what I like to do is I'm going to create a folder here to save my original files. And I'm going to say this is ESXi 19 original cert. I should probably spell that out. Okay. Okay, so there's that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here now, and I'm going to copy and bring those over here and paste. Okay, so those are my originals. I can kind of, I guess the date timestamp doesn't help that much. All right, but I labeled the folder that they're my originals. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my self-signed certificate, which is here. Remember, I generated these. I just copied these and renamed them. But this is what ESXi needs, is it needs an RUI.cert and an RUI.key. And I'm going to copy them over here. Okay. All right. So having done that now, then I can shrink this, and I need to reboot my server. So I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to reboot my server, and then let's go take a look and see what that certificate looks like on the machine I'm sitting at, as well as a machine that does not have the the client side of it. Remember, when you do self-signed certificates, you have to have the certificate on the destination and on the machine you're connecting to, or I'll call it the source. Okay, so this Windows 10 machine, I created the certificate here, so it's here, right? And so we're going to get one behavior, but then I'll remote desktop into a different machine that doesn't have the certificate, and I'll show you what that behavior looks like. So let me pause the video and get that set up. All right, so we're back. So here's the deal. Okay, so I rebooted that server, and I got a not secure error. Okay, and let's go take a look at the certificate. It says it's invalid, but let's take a look at it. So the certificate is there, right? It's our wildcard. This CA root certificate is not trusted, self-signed. Okay, we expect this. But notice the date. So the problem is that the certificate, it's self-signed, it's on my ESXi server, okay, and it's working fine, but this client PC is not trusting it. So how are we going to fix that? I'll show you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our certificate store, and we're going to, this right now is in our personal certificate. We're going to copy it, and we're going to put it in our trusted root certificate. Okay. Okay, so there it is. Okay. So let me refresh. Oh, okay. Okay. So we put it into the trusted root. So it's in there along all of the big boys, all of the ones we pay money for. Now, if we go back to our web browser, one thing that we have to realize, it doesn't matter whether we're using self-signed or third party, that you have to close the web browser. You can't just refresh when you change the certificate. So I closed it. Just come up here and we close the web browser. And let's reopen it. And we go back to our host, ESXi 19. Okay. And let's take a look. So notice everything's okay this time. And we go look here, it tells us it's valid. And we go look at it, and everything's good. So we met our objective. We got a 10-year certificate, meaning that we don't have to do this every 3 to 6 to 12 months. We don't have to come in and change certificates. But again, this is for us. In other words, I've got to go to every computer I'm going to, and let me go back to the certificate tool. I've got to go now to every certificate, no, excuse me, to every PC that I use to work on this network. Okay, if I work from home, I've got to put this certificate on my home machine. If I work anywhere I work, in order for this to be trusted, I've got to do that. I've got to then bring this in. You think, well, how do you do that? Well, what you do is you go back to your PFX, if it's a Windows machine, okay? If it's a Windows machine, then this is what you take with you. Put it on a thumb drive or some secure way. Take it with you to home, to the different machines that you use, your laptop, and you install it. Okay, you just install it, and Windows will default to install this into the personal store. You know, I'm going to pause the video and double check that. I believe I have enough time on this video to keep it under 20 minutes to walk through that with you. I went through and I imported it, but I want you to see it. There's more steps involved than I remembered. So first of all, I'm on the same machine. I haven't moved machines. I want you to see that I removed the certificate. You think, well, Randy, how'd you do that? You just right click and you just say delete. Okay. So I removed it from my personal store and I removed it from here. When I came back here, it was at the top. Okay. So I've removed that self-signed certificate. So if I was to go back to my ESXi server, it should again error. It should, right? Because I don't have the client side of my self-signed certificate. So here it is. Here's what I exported. And for a Windows machine, this is great. This is what I can import. So I just right click on it and I say install. Okay. And it gives me a wizard, and I want you to see this. Is it going to be for me as a user or for a computer? I need it to be, again, a local computer certificate. Okay. It's just asking me to validate here. Okay. Specify the file you want to import. Okay. Looks good. This is the password that I used, because remember, it has the private key in it, and the private key needs to be guarded. And so I need the password for that. Okay, look at our choices here. Mark the key as exportable. If you do that, then it could be exported again. Typically, I don't think you would do that. I don't think you would. I would keep my master files somewhere safe, and when I imported them or installed them onto the different machines I used, I don't think I would include the private key. Okay, so I've done that, and then we're given a choice. Where do you want to place it? Automatically select. If you leave it to automatic, it's going to put it in my personal store, or you can ask it to put it into the trusted root store, and that would be where it should go. Okay, over here it tells me the import was successful, and if I come over here and I refresh, I should find it in there. There it is. It's at the top. Okay, if I hadn't have told it to put it in my trusted root store, it would have put it up here. Okay, and up here isn't good enough. It needs to be down here in order for the web browser to honor it. Okay, all right, so we've done it. We've done it. Let's just bring this up and review. So our goal with these two videos was to do a walkthrough about using self-signed certificates, and we used as an example, we used our ESXi servers. Now that I've done this, okay, I'm going to go back and put my other certificate back on, right? I mean, I exported my certificate that's good for just until December. I'm going to put that back on so that my server is just like you guys' servers. Okay, I'm going to do that, but I don't have to do that. And as I have other equipment here within the department, as I mentioned, storage networks, PF sense boxes, the department ESXi servers, they're not Bob's Taco, they're under NICSite.com. I generated a 10-year wildcard cert for them. Okay, but for our interaction, I'm going to go ahead and put my other one back on. But let's just review. So we gave our scenario. We said we've got a server side ESXi and a client side, in my case a Windows 10 machine, and I used PowerShell, and I used the new self-signed cert, and I gave you a syntax example, and our goal was wildcard. There's much more information written about single name certs, and so that's why I focused on wildcard. I explained to you that with a wildcard, it's one certificate to rule them all. Well, one certificate we could take that one certificate and put it on all of our ESXi servers, and then import it into all of the machines we use to work on them, and we'd all be good for 10 years. Okay, so it's one certificate that you can use over and over, anything under bobstaco.com. So we created a Microsoft Management Console. We did that up here. We went to computer, local computer, and we then, when we create our certificate, remember the syntax here, creating it actually puts it in that store. Let me go back to my pen here. This path here, could we have told it to put it into the trusted root? We could have. Okay, we could have done that, but we put it. I think it was a good practice to put it into a local store, not the trusted root. And again, we gave it 10 years. We then exported it. We went to that website. I closed that website, but we went there and we converted it from its default. This is a Windows default. Actually, the PFX is a Windows default. We converted it to a PEM package. We then downloaded it. It downloaded as a zip file. We then extracted it, and we got a key file, and we got a CRT file. And then I just renamed them. I just played with the names, and I eventually wound up with rui.crt and rui.key. And then went to the ESXi server. Scroll down here. we went to the ESXi server and I enabled SSH and WinSecure copy, and I kept my original RUI files and put my self-generated certificate ones in there. Okay, then I went to the technician PC, and this does happen automatically, but it's not enough. Okay, what we need to do is we need to then, after we've done this, we need to copy it into the trusted root, or import it, either way. Just get it into the trusted root, and then from there, remember, you close the web browser. We always forget to do that. I always forget to do that. Students always forget to do that. Close the web browser, reopen it, fresh copy of the web browser, and then test. That's it. That's a kind of a detailed look at self-signed certificates using PowerShell. All right, we'll close this video up, and the next look we'll take is at how do you get a hold of third-party certificates. So thanks for your time, and let me know if you have any questions.